What does every symbol in the Bible refer to? Adulteress city. It has been mentioned in the Bible many of times. Signs which are prior to the second event of Christ, and the fall of Babylon is one of these important signs. It's been mentioned in Revelation of John. Another angel, a second followed, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink wine of her impure passion. Babylon is most ancient civilization in history, and it was the capital of Iraq, but nowadays Baghdad is the capital of Mesopotamia. The adulteress city has been mentioned in John's Revelation. Then one of the 7 angels, who had the 7 bowls, came and said to me, Come, I show you the judgment of the great harlot, who is seated upon many waters. The great adulteress is Baghdad, which cut embraces her through middle the Tigris, while passes Euphrates with her sides and suburbs. Anciently, Iraq was known as the country between 2 rivers, or Mesopotamia, so that the meaning of many waters is peoples, nations, communities, various races, and that is generally the trait of Iraq and especially Baghdad. It's been mentioned in the Bible, and he said to me, The waters that you saw, where the harlot is seated, are peoples and multitudes, nations and tongues. Thus, in Iraq general and Baghdad in special, both include Arabs, Kurds, Turkmen, Christians, Muslims, Sabians, and other races. As for adulteress, meaning, refers to many kings who had forcibly entered Baghdad to occupy it, steal her bounties, and down her. Anciently and nowadays, Baghdad is the focus of attention of raiders and occupiers of kings and tyrants because of her bounties and abundance of bliss. Mongols anciently had occupied her by Hologo. Later, Ottomans occupied her during their big empire. Also, British had occupied Baghdad in the beginning of last century. At last, the Americans occupied Baghdad in 2003 with their allies, the NATO. They entered in Baghdad like rapes. Therefore, adultery has achieved, and all the world watched one of the most important signs of Christ's second advent, glory to him. But there is another fall for Baghdad, later to her first fall, before Christ returned during last times. But this one will be done by forces of darkness and expiatory enemies, which filled all the world by overdue and hatred to peoples wronged, truth followers, and supporters of divine Savior. These forces are moving through the region of Middle East since years, await for the opportunity to enter all Iraq cities, to commit crimes and violation until reach Baghdad through Syria, which became appropriate haven and hotbed for grant and embrace these kind of expiatory forces. The revelation of John has repeated statement of Babylon is fallen more than one time, and that's a clear habit code of scientists to understand Baghdad will fall twice among Christ's second advent time, which will coincide with other signs of times mentioned in the Bible. It's worth mentioning that Iraq will divide into 3 countries and statelets, and that was behold by many ruling powers inside Iraq was established his regime. That's an ordinary result of heavy differences between his warring sects belong to these political rulers and the clerics. The division of Iraq has also been mentioned in the Bible. As the John's Revelation, the great city will split into 3 parts, and the cities of nations fell, to make her drain the cup of fury of his wrath. Those are the signs that take place in tight time. First, Iraq division. Second, falling of Arab governments. And the third is fall of Babylon. And we prove that it means Baghdad's fall, the capital of Mesopotamia, whom many kings and traders of the world who dare to hope will mourn to her after they watch massacres done by the enemy of Christ, the leader of the army of the darkness coming from Syria.